Hey, ladies and savages. So it is September 8th as of this very moment, and this weekend, things in my life took quite a turn. I am good, just very, very busy, and I know Al is busy as well. So for this week, we weren't able to record a new episode, but luckily we had a few that we hadn't used. So, this next episode is actually one we recorded about 2 months ago, maybe. We hope you enjoy it. We liked it when we recorded it, at least. So if you decide to protest, just keep in mind you gotta do some time traveling because this was past Hector and this was past Al. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Was good.
Welcome to another episode of Savages Unscripted.
Damn.
But how have you been, dude?
It's been great, bro. I just had my family go back home to Peru. Throughout that time, they were here for almost a month. Oh man, it's been tiring, man. Even though it's fun to have your family over, holy shit, it's great. But the one thing is just you're just like an Uber, but not getting paid. Just take them everywhere, and it's just like, damn, it gets exhausting and it's fun, but it obviously gets on your schedule at times, especially when you prioritize your family so highly, as at least I do.
And there's got to be a certain point too where you're like, I love you guys, but I can't wait for you guys to go. I love having visitors, but even like when you have friends over, like, you know, when they leave is when the house is as it should be, you know? You can be the way you are at home, you know? It's just more comfortable.
Yeah, you get in your zone, your vibe, you get to go back to your schedule, your projects, at least in my case. And yeah, it feels good to be back at times because even I zoned you guys out for a while. I remember Angel was hitting me up like twice in the group chat and I never responded. I just saw a text. I'm like, nope, too busy, bro.
I went out to eat last night with Angel and Amy, and the first thing he asked was, hey, is Al coming along? And, you know, I told him that you still had your family over. And he was like, still? Like, they've been there for like half a year. I was like, no, dude, it's been like a month, less.
Dude, he misses me.
But it's felt like a long time.
No, it has, dude. It's been an entertaining ride, though, for sure.
And man, that ethnic food. I don't know how people can continue eating McDonald's and Burger King and freaking KFC and all this stuff when you have legit Mexican restaurants, you have Peruvian restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
You have Mideastern food. You know, there's just so much better stuff out there that's healthier for you, and it just tastes fucking better, you know? Like, yesterday, Angel asked me, where do you want to go out to eat? And the first thing I said was, none of that American shit. I don't want any of that stuff you normally eat. And he was like, okay. So, immediately we're looking like at, you know, places with kebabs. We're looking at Peruvian places. We were looking at I was even looking like at legit Italian places, not Olive Garden.
Okay.
And he told me about an Indian place in San Bernardino, and immediately I was like, yeah, let's go. I haven't eaten Indian. Let's go. Let's try it. So we go there, and he said it's an Indian buffet, and it's like $14, and it's all you can eat.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
San Bernardino, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I'm gonna blast the bathroom all day if I go there. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I did. But so we get there, and we tell the guy, hey, you know, we're interested in the buffet. And he tells us, oh, I'm sorry, but the buffet ended 2 minutes ago.
Oh.
And we were like, oh, well, damn, that sucks, you know? So, you know, we were faced with the options of, are we going to go out and find something else, or are we just going to order something here, and the food was pretty pricey outside of the buffet, and we wanted to eat,
Mm-hmm.
So we were looking at an option there. It was a little pricey, but we put in the order, and the owner of the restaurant literally runs over to us, and he tells us, "No, the buffet's closed, but you know what? Just go ahead, help yourselves to it.
Nice.
We're gonna throw out the food anyway." So he brought 3 plates, and he told us, "Get whatever you want. You're saving money like this, and you can eat as much as you want." So we were like, "Yes, this guy is getting a tip."
No. Fuck.
That's how you conduct business. So I don't know what 95% of what I ate was, but I loved all of it.
Dude, I just love trying foods in general. I'm just kind of salty I didn't go. Damn. Do you know how long I've been trying to eat genuine Indian food? Oh, man.
Well, we're definitely going to go again. Because it was late at night, and I had eaten a little before we went, so I didn't get to eat as much as I could.
Yeah.
So we're going to go again.
Dude, yeah, hit me up. Tell me about going. I'll definitely go. Damn.
Plus, it was later in the night, right before they were closing, so a lot of the stuff was either gone or a little cold,
Yeah,
so
I get
we're definitely
you.
going to go again to get the real experience,
Nice.
And it was funny because, Amy went, of course, and she's picky. She's scared to try new foods. Yeah. So we were literally at the buffet. I ate Indian food once. I just tried it off somebody's plate. And we were at the buffet, and she would tell me, "What's this? What's this? What's this? What's in this?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Amy, I don't know. This is both of our first time here." And she would tell me, like, "Can you get this so I can try it?"
Oh.
I told her, "It's a buffet. You can get it. You don't have to eat it. Try it. You don't like it, get something else." But yeah, same here. I love trying new foods.
Just to go a little off course, Amy reminds me of one of my aunts. I have 2 aunts and an uncle from my family, on my mom's side. And it's funny how at times she reminds me so much of her, because when it comes to my aunt, I call her Marima. That's a little nickname I gave her when I was little. But every time she tries food, dude, I compare her to a parrot, like a freaking bird. Because birds like just chip in and start like putting their beak in and just get one thing at a time. One buck.
Little bites.
Yep, that's my aunt. She legit, okay, she's like a dog at first. So she gets the fork, she puts gets the food, starts smelling it. Like a freaking, I don't know, CSI dog. Then starts looking at it, sees the color, and then she just gets a little bit bite. And and this is why I call her like a bird. She starts like chopping her lips together to try it. Over exaggerated at times, I feel. And it's like, she's like, "Okay, this is good or not?" But I'm like, "Girl, you gotta get like good spoon in, not just a freaking small molecule." And it's just funny how Amy, at least when Amy does that a lot, she just reminds me of that. That's just great.
Yeah, like today we went to soup plantation, my family and I, and my mom had never tried clam chowder. Ooh. And I love clam chowder. My brother does too. And so we had it, and my brother and I were like, "Oh, this is so good." Like after every bite, "Oh, this is so good. This is delicious. This is amazing." And my mom had never tried it, so she told us, like, "I don't know what's so good about it." So we told her to try it. And she got like a 1/4 of a centimeter, maybe even less, on a spoon. It was just the cream, like the sauce or whatever, the soup. There was nothing in it, nothing of substance. And she was like about to try it, and she was like, "No, I don't want it." And I was like, "That is not how you try something. You need the full experience. You can't just get a little bit off the top,
Oh yeah, especially it's like I don't know, getting a burger with just the burger and the bun. You gotta put all the ingredients in there and then try it and see if you like it or not. It's just not.
That's the equivalent of meeting somebody and not liking their shirt and being like, "Nah, I don't like it. Not for me."
Unless it's a Trump supporting shirt. I know people will ride that shit on all day.
Yeah.
Oh, but
what else did you do this summer? Because I saw your social media. You guys did quite some things this summer.
All right. So going down the list. We went to Las Vegas for 2-3 days for my mom's weekend birthday. So we did that. Same day they also arrived. I picked up my little puppy. I just bought recently a little Shiba Inu. I think we discussed this in the previous episode. And we took her there. So that was fun. I bought a, what do you call it? A little, what's that thing called that the Hangover guy with the beard was using to carry the baby?
I think it's called a papoose. I heard that somewhere else.
Papoose. Let's go with that. So I bought the papoose. I put that shit on, strapped it in, and put my dog there. Dude, I could not walk at least a good 20 feet before someone was like, oh, it's so cute. Can I touch it? Can I pet it? And I was like, yeah. I was saying yeah because of the girls. Then the other people would come in. I'm like, oh, no, fuck off. Eventually, honestly, I got tired of it. So I just put a blanket over her and I was like, I just pretend it's a baby, okay? Because it was such a... I didn't know. It brought so much attention in. And the funny thing was that my mom would constantly say that my dog was ugly. But I'm like, hey.
She was saying that about your dog?
Yeah, no, my mom's straightforward about it. She doesn't like something, she'll tell you. But yeah, but it's because her nose is pretty, her nose is pretty long. But I kind of actually like that because my first dog, Dylan, is like that too. So that's why I kind of chose her as well, because she kind of resembles that. And it's kind of like a trademark in a way. Mm-hmm. So I picked her. But yeah, so I went there, Vegas. It was cool. I was fucking melting by the end of the day. Then we came back. We went to Universal Studios. That was fun. We did the little hack I've been telling you about. Just take one of your elderly parents, put them in the wheelchair, and they'll give you priority anytime. You don't even have to pay the fast pass. And so it was so great. What's up? Yeah.
You gotta work the system.
Oh, dude, we saved over a couple hours doing that stuff. I was like, dude, why don't people do this more often? I feel like some people are just shy about it. Me and my family don't care, man. We just go. We're like, hey, grandma, get in there, and then just enjoy the ride because we want to enjoy it.
I think the one place I would definitely do that and not feel bad is Disneyland.
Oh,
because
Disneyland.
The crowds there are ridiculous.
And the rides aren't even worth it, man. Well, at least Disneyland, the legit Disneyland. I haven't been to Disney Adventure, but yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just like you're paying so much money to wait so much in line, you know?
No, especially...
Are you like... You're not paying for the experience at that point. You're paying for just the location.
Oh, and and it's just all about the name. That's really what you pay for, because the rides are like... I honestly, the last time I went, I tried to actually feel like a kid again. Like, legit, I forced myself to think like a kid. I was like, oh my god, it's amazing. This is great. I didn't last after the second ride. I was like, damn, this is really... Obviously, it's not my age anymore, but... Yeah, it's
not just that, but it must suck now for little kids, because little kids, they can't wait, you know? That's why little kids in an airplane or an airport is like the worst thing you can possibly think of. So just imagine at Disneyland, these kids want to get on some damn rides and they're in line for 60% of the experience. That sucks. And that sucks for people around them, you know?
Hey, man, but it teaches them one important trait in life. Know what that is?
Patience.
Yep.
and that Disney's overcrowded and overpriced. That's another important lesson, kids.
Dude, the food there. Oh my god. I remember, I don't clearly remember the prices. I'm not gonna look it up right now, but I remember like waters were going like for $10 and like the popcorn was like over $10 and you couldn't even refill it. There was no option for refilling, so you constantly had to buy something new. And you just felt constantly ripped off. Plus already having had to pay the what is it, like $100+ for just a day entrance. I just felt like overkill to me. I don't know how people like to go so often.
Did I tell you my Disneyland experience?
No.
Okay, so I've been there once, but I count it as I've never been there because either the experience was bad or I was so young. Because we went when I was young, really, really young. It must have been 4 years old because my memory was obviously shit. Because my only memory of Disneyland is the parking lot.
Oh my god. The hell?
I promise you, I don't remember Disneyland. I remember the parking lot and getting in line, like, you know, when you get into a park.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. That's my memory of Disneyland. So when people tell me, "Hey, have you been to Disneyland?" I say, "No, I haven't experienced it."
Like, what happened, bro? Like,
I just don't remember.
Get knocked out? The fuck?
I was probably getting angsty, and my mom just knocked me over the head. So I only remember
there's a
parking
purple
lot.
mark in your eye. She's like, "Nah, he's cool." Just riding all unconscious.
Yeah, it's not a bruise. He was getting some face painting. And then he stopped halfway.
We had to get on the ride.
Yeah, he wanted to be Rocky.
Oh, I have not watched that.
Yeah. So you were saying about your summer.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, so I was just about to go back to that. So we went to Universal. Then after that, after weeks of convincing my aunt, because she's overprotective with her my two cousins that came over, I convinced her to go to Six Flags. And because my little cousin, she's 13, but she's pretty tall already for her age. And she wanted to go, and I remember last time she wanted to go, so I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And I first got discouraged. I saw the price. I'm like, fuck, $90 a person. Luckily, though, during that time, I was able to get some tickets for, I think it was like close to 60% off. So I got them for 40% off. I got them for like $50 a prop. And I obviously invited them, so I paid for them all. And I was happy that we went because it was, how would you say it? It's a better experience than going to Disneyland, honestly, because we went in the back. And there was that's a good strategy whenever you go to Six Flags. I would also recommend it. You have to go in the back whenever they open, because everyone just goes in the rides in the front when the back is always empty. And throughout that day, okay, we first started with Batman, then we went to Riddler, then we went to Viper, then we went to Ninja, and it was fun. And have you been on Six Flags before?
I have been there many times, but it's been a while.
You rode Ninja, right?
Yeah, like the last time I went, they were about to stop and close down Colossus for the Twisted one. I was there the day before they closed down the original Colossus, so it's been years.
Damn. Okay. Well, I'm bringing up Ninja because you know how soft it is. I feel like it's a kiddie ride at times. It's just like hard turns, but it's not that bad. And it's not that high either. So if you were to fall, it's like, whatever. But I remember...
small fall.
Just free fall that shit. But I remember I took my aunt there, and she's afraid of rides. I legit paid for her because she's an overprotective mom, so she has to constantly see her daughter. She would not trust me, and somewhat trust my mom to watch over. So I just paid for her just for her to be satisfied. And we were able to convince her to just go on Ninja, and I was like crossing my finger, like, please, let her enjoy this, so we could go on bigger rides. I want to see her reaction on the bigger ones. And we went. She was like, "Oh shit! Oh my god! I'm about to die!" And I remember towards the end, she kept shouting, even though the ride had already stopped. And that was just hilarious because me and my cousin were just overhearing that. We're just laughing our ass off about that. I was like, yeah, she's not going on any more rides. But yeah, that was fun. I went to Six Flags. Then after that, we went to Catalina Island. Like, it was like a last minute thing. They went there for legit like 2 days. I went there for just basically 1 day. Right after I got off work, I immediately went to Long Beach and got on the boat. And that was fun. Catalina seems like a really chill getaway. It's not like bumping with like music and energy and like, you know, just for you and your friends to get fucked up or anything like that. But it's a chill family place where it has its small sections where it could be more adventurous, hiking, going on some tours and stuff like that. They have like an ox tour or something. They have like oxes or something like that. I forgot what animal it was. And the one thing I loved, golf carts. You could rent golf carts. So I wanted to rent one so bad and just go around the whole island, just go in circles constantly.
I've never been, but I've heard that it's pretty reasonable prices.
It's yeah, I would say so. I remember I didn't go for the first time, but I actually paid for people to go. First time I ever came in contact with Catalina Island, I sent my mom and my dad there for like a little 3-day getaway for my mom's, I think it was Mother's Day. Yeah. I paid for her trip and all that. And for 3 days, I paid for the hotel like $130 a night, should I say? Mm. So it wasn't that bad. And then the ferry is probably the only thing that I get to because it's $70 round trip. But besides that,
that's not bad as long as it's round trip though.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I paid like $350 for 3 nights for those two, so it was like $170 plus the ferry. That's $70 more bucks. That's $240 for one person. That's not bad at all. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, as long as it's more than one night, you're good. That's good.
Honestly, even a little getaway, I would honestly just go there and pay for the ferry. Just bring a blanket and sleep outside, and just chill for the remaining of the day because it's the beach. The weather's not that bad, at least the time I went there, obviously, because it's summer. But it's a chill place to go to. The only thing that is overpriced is the freaking amusement options, such as parasailing, jet skiing, going on the I think it was called like flying fish tour, or just fish jump out of the water, and more of the aquatic, I would say, activities are expensive. But besides that, it's a pretty good place to go.
And that's where they get you too, because I think if you go on vacation and you're seeing these cool things you don't see every day, mm-hmm. It might be expensive, but of course you're going to be like, fuck it, let's just do it, like YOLO.
Yeah.
And that's where people spend money.
That's where you just got to get rich and get yourself a boat. Just go there, enjoy yourself. But
yeah, it's like because I recently went to a concert and like merchandise, the merch there, shirts and stuff like that, it's expensive. When you got to spend like $30 for a T-shirt, that's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But when you go there, you're in that environment and you're so pumped up, and you want to be like not necessarily included, but you just want to be stuck in that environment,
Yeah, I guess.
So you might see this T-shirt and you might be like, yeah, that's expensive. But when you're there, you don't care.
No. Yeah, I feel, yeah, it's like living in the moment kind of thing, in a way.
Yeah, extend the experience. That's what you want to do.
But you also have to be reasonable when it comes to going on vacation. You can't just accept everything that's offered to you. And, but yeah, going back, lastly, I went to, Six Flags, Catalina Island, and then we just went to Long Beach, and because my little cousin has been craving bubblegum, and it was funny because the last time they came here was almost 2 years ago, but between that time we went to Mexico, Cancun, and I remember my little cousin just kept mentioning bubblegum, and then when we were at Mexico, he saw bubblegum, he's like, yeah, I want to go there, blah blah blah, and we ended up not going. So he was kind of a little disappointed. But I remember this time he definitely wanted to go. He loves shrimp, especially because in Peru, like, there's no bubblegum. And the shrimp are pretty overpriced over there. And we went there. He got like... have you been to bubblegum recently?
I have seen it a lot. I've walked by it a lot, but I've never had it.
Oh, shit. I'm surprised. I thought you would at least gone once. No, but he ordered it's like called Shrimper's Heaven, and it gives you 4 different types of shrimps, different ways it's cooked or made. And it was like coconut, baked, fried, and they wrapped one with bacon, which was pretty cool, and I hadn't seen that one before. And it's like a cool 2,300 calories in just that one thing. So it's basically a full meal for the day. And he's freaking, damn, I forgot how old he is. Oh, 11, 12-ish. And
that's like twice his intake, maybe. What he needs.
Bro, he finished it all. And on top of that,
Jeez.
He drank Sprite on top of that. And
oh man.
He definitely has a little resemblance with his dad. But he's not. What surprises me, he ate so much and he has such a huge appetite, but he was like, oh, I'm good. I'm like, fuck, dude. Freaking great metabolism you have going there. He even had stomach for ice cream. Like, oh, god damn, bro. Those are the good days.
That was me in college.
Dude, oh my god. We're getting older, man.
I remember,
We just gotta change it.
I remember when I was in intramural basketball with my friends, and there was one point. This is when Angel started eating more fast food, so it got me into eating more fast food because I was always hanging out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, in a 7-day span, we went to In-N-Out 6 times.
Jesus Christ, bro! What the hell?
We went like 6 days in a row, and we were I had never known about the 4x4 until Angel. And Angel will get 2 4x4s.
Oh my
He'd get 2 4x4s, an order of animal style fries, and a shake. And then he would tell me, I want some Chipotle.
No, shut up. No way.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't like a portion of that, but still, like, that's man, the way I used to eat.
God, that's probably the way I'm eating right now. Man. Oh my god. But yeah, dude, that basically concludes kind of my run with how my family getaway was. I think I might have missed some small things, but generally that was really it. I mean, it was just fun, and a lot of time was consumed. But yeah, how have you been, bro? I haven't talked to you in a minute.
My summer, because I didn't work this summer. I just went back to work just last week.
Nice.
I work with kids, so there's constantly more training, more things for us to know. But this summer, you know me, I have a lot of projects I want to do. Mm-hmm. So this summer, I told myself, I'm going to go out enough, but not too much. And I don't want to spend too much money, but I want to be able to do the things I never have time for. Because I feel like I'm never organized with the shit I want to do. I want to play guitar. I want to write music. I want to do the podcasting. I want to write. Mm-hmm. I want to play Xbox. I want to read. I want to watch Netflix. There's literally too much. And then when you include work and sleep, the things you got to do, and cooking, that doesn't fit in a schedule. So I think I did enough this summer, and I have a lot more projects I'm focusing on. I started writing a novel. It's a little idea that I have. I've been hanging out with other people that they have ideas, other people that want to do podcasts or vlogs, and I've been having people tell me, hey, I want you to help me with this. You're a writer, help me. So I'm kind of like in the background helping people and stuff like that. So I've just been kind of just hanging out with friends, working on my projects. Very soon, this isn't something like, I don't care about it being private, but because I used to write a lot. And I was published in a college magazine, but from that point, I don't know, I just kind of put writing aside. I was focusing more on let's get my degree so I can teach. I was focusing more on the stuff I know I can do, rather than the stuff I would hope to do. And so recently I hung out with a friend, and she's a writer too, or she used to write. So we're talking about writing, and I just realized, like, I used to do this, I used to love writing. I used to write like 10 pages a night. I'd get really into it. So I decided to look back into it. And then I spoke to another friend, and I didn't know this, but so I convinced him to try writing. And after a while, he decided he wants to be a writer, and I haven't talked to him in like over a year. So now he's writing short stories, and he actually designed a website. And he has his own website, and he's putting his stuff out there for people can read. I wish I remember the name or wrote it down so I can plug him or something, but maybe the next episode. But that inspired me. So I decided, I'm going to make a website and put my stuff out there, So that's what I'm working on right now. Just a lot of projects this summer.
That's always nice to keep yourself busy, especially with stuff you want to do. That's really cool, man. That's honestly the way I'm also projecting myself, trying to do different, how would you say it? I want to know another word besides project, but get your ideas out there.
And then there's also a certain point. This is where it gets tough, though, because I think you can have a lot of projects, but there's a certain point where you have to clamp down on the ones you do want to do. Because I was thinking this earlier, I still want to write music, there's the podcast and all that writing and stuff. There's other stuff I want to do, but I can do them. But I think when you focus on one more, that's when that becomes bigger, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage people to always learn more and do more. But I think when you want something to be taken to the next level, that thing, it needs more focus. It needs more priority than other stuff. So like right now, it's kind of sad. I'm not focusing on the music as much, but that's just more work right now. And I just don't really have that time right now. So just for now, I'm focusing on the other stuff.
Yeah, that's good. And it's always good to differentiate between what are projects and what are hobbies.
Yeah.
Because at times projects could be something you want to see yourself in like a year or two growing on, well, at least career-wise. And then when it comes to hobbies, it's stuff you just enjoy, such as the one example that comes to mind was, for me at least, would be like our podcast. This is like a long-term thing. We definitely want this to take off. Well, I could compare this to one thing I've been holding off for like almost a year was mountain biking. I just love the adrenaline you do there, and it's all cool and stuff. But since I don't have the time for at least both of them right now, I obviously will pick our podcast over mountain biking because it's just a thing that is more important, at least in the moment, than the other hobby. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's really cool, dude. Yeah, I think it will definitely be great to get more time available for ourselves. But hey, at times we just gotta ride the boat and see what we could do with the time we have.
Yeah, but I definitely think, you know, just if you want to do something, just fucking do it. You know, I realize this also because, you know, I had more time and I didn't have work this summer. I was doing like side jobs, but that wasn't really a big thing. But so I allowed myself to play video games more, you know, and there were certain times where I was like, I feel unproductive. I'm just playing a lot of video games. But then I would remind myself, you know what? I worked my ass off. Now I have time off. Like, I understand if it's different because I'm used to working and stuff, but I deserve this. I shouldn't feel bad about it, you know?
Yeah.
But then I realized that after I play video games and after I write or play guitar, the feeling you have after is different. You know, when you play video games and you're like, all right, I didn't do much. I just did this and this. But when you finish like a project or something like an actual hobby, I'm not saying video games is not a hobby, but something that's like a project or an art, something with a deadline. When you finish that stuff, at the end, you're like, you just feel good. You feel like after a workout, you just feel fresh, you know, and accomplished. And I like that.
I just feel, yeah, whenever it requires work and a little bit of grind to it, like you said, you know, after a workout, well, at least for my position, I'll be like, I don't want to go to the gym, blah, blah, this and that. But then when you get out of it, it's just, you just feel like you've done more than just sitting on your ass playing Minecraft and building some houses. It feels more of like aligned to what you want to do and what will be more important in the future for you.
I agree.
It's just the one thing that would get it's the mindset, honestly, because like, you know, like you said, let's go with what you just mentioned, playing the guitar, playing video games. Playing video games doesn't require much effort unless you're competitive, like going like CS:GO League and trying to win money like that. But if you just play video games, you're just playing to enjoy yourself, just have some dead time and just do whatever. Well, in playing the guitar, it might require you to go over some notes, practice some specific not lines, but you know what I mean, like specific tones and stuff like that. And at times it could just get annoying because you just constantly practice. And it's, in general, from the outside, it's something that you're passionate about but in that moment, it could just get kind of annoying because even though it's your passion, practicing it and getting better or just projecting to bigger things, feels like work at times. But I just feel like, well, at least what I'm trying to get my mindset going is that you should just view it or get the hang of just seeing it as fun. Just fake it until you make it, bro. It's just that's what I'm trying to learn a bit from, at least right now. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, and I'm by no means saying, like if you play a lot of video games, you're not doing shit. Because what I think is I have stuff I know I want to do, but I was playing video games and that was eating up time. So that was my standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
But then there might be others where maybe they don't have as much projects. They have more time for video games. Maybe video games is a way for them to really talk to their friends, or maybe they really want to live stream with video games or whatever it is, Twitch and all that stuff. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
It just really depends on all this stuff, the priorities you have, and what it is to you. Like there might be someone that might see video games as entirely like, oh, you're a lazy piece of shit.
My mom.
And me, I'm casual. But there might be someone where it's more of a passion. It's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I care about guitar and writing. That might not matter to somebody else. They might see that as, why are you doing that? You're not going to make something out of it. It's different for everybody. Like you said, hobbies, just for fun.
And I know you like to go by book at times of what definition is or what meaning is given to words. But would you say passion could be defined as something that you like, but also something you should grind for? Or do you think passion should just be something you enjoy and that's it, really?
I don't think passion is about what you like. I think passion is something it's more. Passion is you care for it. You want to work for it, no matter how much work you want to do it. I think it's way more than like, I'm not saying it's love. I don't want to go there and get super cheesy, but it's way more than like. So this is almost a tangent, but at the same time, it isn't. So, when I went to Cal State San Bernardino, I went as a nursing major. I mainly went there because of the nursing program. Mm-hmm. And I was doing nursing because I was good at science and I was like, nurses make good money. If you think about that, that's not a bad reasoning. I'm good at it and it's good money. It's not bad reasoning. But when I took some English classes, I was always good at English, but I never really thought about it, thought deep about it. And so when I did English, I realized like, I enjoy this. I'm not just good at it. I like it. I wasn't even necessarily great at it. I remember my first paper I felt super confident about. And this is funny because we had to write a little biography about ourselves. And I wrote a super personal paper. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is the best paper I've ever written in my life. I'm barely a college freshman. And I got a fucking D+.
Oh.
I was like, what? I just
damn.
dissected my life and poured my heart out. And I get a D+,
Yeah.
But I think this is where passion comes in. Because I didn't do good, but I cared. I still wanted to do it. I think that's the difference between passion and just liking something. For me, it was deeper than that. And, especially back then, after, we're coming back from the recession, being a teacher is not a good job. A lot of teachers were being laid off. Remember back then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was not a safe job. And I remember constantly my parents told me, you want to be a teacher? Like, good luck if you get a job and can you keep it? So for me this isn't 100% certain I'm even going to get a job. They don't get paid great, but I want to do it. To me, that's passion. When it doesn't matter what the hard work is and the obstacles, but you want it.
Oh, yeah, especially, from at least what I've noticed from your stories and stuff like that you tell me or an Angel and other people probably is that the stories you bring from your job, at least your current job right now, where even though you speak about it and it seems like hard situations, you just deliver it in such a enjoyable manner and you just laugh constantly while saying it. Yeah, definitely, at least in my perspective, shows that you care about it and you're enjoying it, even though at times for me, at least, especially for kids, the girl who stabbed the other students, you're just it was a challenge for you, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you just showed that you cared about solving that problem, or at least learning about it, and finally just being there and how would you say, growing more for that industry, or not industry, but that career. Just, yeah, I just see that every time you talk about it.
Yeah. So two things. Thanks for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is pretty common sense, but when you tell a story, there's two things that will catch someone's attention. If you're going to tell it really well, tell it in a way to grab their attention, or ranting. Ranting gets people's attention, but no one wants to rant. It's super negative, like just imagine if I told you my stories after, working with these kids, but I was just complaining, that'd be annoying. After a while, you'd be like, damn, just fucking quit your job, But, that's the thing. So when I tell my stories, even if it's something super shitty that happened to me, even if it's something that I didn't like, I try to tell it in a way that someone can hear it and be invested. Talking is kind of like writing in some ways, and writing is like talking in some ways. And that's the way I put those two together. And back to what you were saying, though, about that girl that stabbed that person. So for those that didn't know, I think I mentioned it in the prior episode, but I had a student that stabbed somebody with a spork. Not a fork, a spork, a plastic spork. And so we just started training again. And the first thing our boss did was give us the roster of the kids that are returning. And the first thing I did was look for her name. And guess what? She's not coming back this year.
Hey. Oh, no.
Praise the Lord. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I think in every negativity, there's some positive stuff. But this girl was a pain, and she caused me hell, and she was just really stressful. And I think it wasn't good for my health. But yeah, she's not coming back. I wish her the best in life. I hope she doesn't stab anybody else. But this school year is going to be a little easier. Like, there's like a few, like 10 or so students that were like big time troublemakers. And I look for those names specifically in this roster. And like half of them are coming back. And I was like, yes. Thank you. Somebody's listening up there. They're not coming back. But oh yeah, definitely. You gotta like what you do. You gotta love it. Because if you don't, you're not gonna want to go back. And that is not a good life.
But would you say, those type of students that are pretty annoying to deal with, would you say you appreciate something they bring to you, or they taught you, or any takeaways from having to take care of them or deal with them?
So here's the thing. Annoying is an understatement. A kid talking a lot or yelling every now and then is one thing. A kid that gives disrespect every now and then, that's another thing. But these kids were consistently causing issues. They were consistently causing fights. They were consistently just being a pain, and not just a little annoyance. They were being a pain. I had this kid, and you can tell he just wanted to be cool. And like whenever we play a game, I don't want to do this. This is lame. But this kid was a bad instigator. Like, he was starting fist fights almost every day. He would like push people around casually, like just for fun. And I think he wanted to start fights, because very often he would kind of push somebody, and if they pushed him back, I promise you, he would punch them in the face. Like, very often. And I'm not going to say the name of my company, but we have no power, and that sucks. Like, all we can really do is tell them, don't do that, use a stern voice, but these parents, they don't do anything. So one of the things I like doing is lying for good. Something that me and my coworkers do is we say, hey, like, of course with a stern voice, but you want to tell them, do I have to give you a write-up? And the kids don't like that. For one, they're center of attention. All their friends are watching them, but they don't want to be in that trouble. But what's funny is there is no such thing as a write-up. but they hate these write-ups.
Wow.
There is no such thing. I have never seen it. I don't have anywhere to write a write-up. I don't have a form. There is no forms for it. There is nothing. This is funny because, when I was an RA, I did the same thing. I would talk to them to get their respect, and I would kind of scare them with this kind of like a threat, give them a little bit of a fear, but there wouldn't be really much truth in it. And that write-up thing, I promise you, it works 100% of the time. But you don't want to use it too much, because eventually the kids are like, he says it a lot, but it hasn't happened. So it's not something you want to pull out every time. So every now and then, if someone's really, really bad and I need something done, I'll send them to my boss. They don't like being with her. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But some of the kids were fun. They gave me some memories, but some of them just nothing good. Like, they definitely need better guidance, and it's definitely the parents that it comes down to.
Just let them reincarnate and have better parents in the future.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Man.
It's so bad. A lot of these parents, the thing is, I've told a few people about this, and a while ago, we're the generation we were growing up with technology, because when we were really young, there was no PS3 and all this stuff, no smartphones. We're that generation that's grown up with it. But the generation right before us, they're a few years before us. What I tell my friends is those are the people that they had technology, but they got so engrossed with it that when they didn't watch their kids. How many times have we seen people at the park or at some store and they're on their phone and their kids messing around, yelling, running around, and they're on their phone. And these kids are the kids of those parents. You can just tell. All these kids want is a phone or a tablet, play Fortnite, and they just want to fuck around.
But isn't there a positive side to that?
Because no. There's no positive side of this.
Hold on. Because from what I've been hearing is that, the younger the kids get used to technology, the smarter and brighter they're going to get when it comes to using it, or probably improving it in the long run, because obviously there's the next generation. So they'll be more likely to, provide better service or provide just an overall better, contribution to society by just improving that. Wouldn't you say in a way? I'm just saying that. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying that because I've heard about that.
So I think, and this boils down to almost every situation, but it's how you do it, because you can have that whole generation of kids. So these kids are typically 9 or 10 years old, which makes sense because that's when smartphones really became a thing, 9 or 10 years ago, give or take. But the thing is, if you just give a kid a smartphone, you just give them something, give them no regulation, let them have whatever they want. If they cry for something, you give them constantly, you spoil them. That's not going about it the right way. There are kids that you can see it as, like, you got to work for it, you got to earn it. So these kids, there's a lot of kids they're technology literate. They're good at it. Some so we work with iPads, and they don't have computers or anything. And I was often working with them with iPads, and very often, the younger kids, of course, they're not old enough yet. They've used it, but they don't know the technical stuff. And very often we had Wi-Fi issues, and typically 3rd, 4th and above those grades, they would know, they would help that kid with the iPad, and they knew to go to network settings. They knew about the Wi-Fi, and they knew how to do that. Years ago, even our parents probably wouldn't have known how to do that. I still help my parents with that. Whenever we get a new phone, I'm the one that gets them onto the Wi-Fi. So they have that simple tech literacy. But also, I think if there's an addiction or the entitlement where this is mine, I can do whatever I want, I have to have it at all times, I think they're not learning other stuff. You know, a lot of these kids hate school. They don't like reading. They don't do anything physical. No other hobbies is just technology. So I think it's about how you do it.
It's now that you mentioned just not being physically active and stuff like that, it just reminded me I was going through my app, Bleacher Report. I just look at sports and stuff like that. And one of their headliners was Fortnite kid wins $3 million.
I heard about that. It was like a week ago or a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was like literally.
And his mom made like some comment on it.
I don't know about that. I mainly wanted to talk about was how ridiculous that is. How old is that kid? Like 14, 15? The thing
with that is
and he's already richer than like our group. So
on the popularity and rise of video games and esports, the video game streaming and competitive gaming. That's more so on that, because have you looked into the esports and all that stuff, the competitive gaming? It's a lot.
I just know about the leagues.
It's a lot bigger and more serious than I thought it was. I feel bad, but I didn't take it seriously. I play casually, and you know me, I'm a nerd. I collect comics. I play a lot of video games. You've heard me when I'm talking about like Pokemon or Halo. Like, I'm very nerdy. But when I hear of people doing this competitively, and they're doing these competitions, I'm like, a fucking nerd, you know? And like, no, but anyway, so Angel's friend Rafi, you met him once. About a month ago, we were on Xbox, and he was in a chat with Angel, and like Angel got off for a little bit. So me and Rafi were still talking because we're good friends. And he was telling me about, because he plays Rocket League, and he told me, like, Hector, I'm not sure if Angel told you, but here's a little random fact, but I have not played anything but Rocket League in like the past 3 years. That's all he plays. Oh my God. He told me that he was on a team, and I was asking him about it. I was like a little interested because, like, now I know somebody that does it, and at times we judge so much, but we don't know about it, So I was asking, and he told me like, yeah, I'm on this team, and it sounds like basketball, dude. He was like, yeah, we have our subs, we have practice sessions, we have a coach, and I'm like, what? For Rocket League? Yeah. And so for those who don't know, Rocket League is essentially a soccer game, but with cars. And I'm sure the game's evolved much more since then, but it is complicated. I suck at it. But so he was telling me like he's one of the best on his team, and there was this drama. I guess his team, they got somebody else, and they put my friend Rafi on the bench. He was a bench player, and this guy sounded like Carmelo Anthony. He was like, "No, I'm not coming off the bench. Fuck you guys," and he left the team. So he found another team, and I guess I think he had to pay to get into it. I'm not sure what for. And he told me like, yeah, if I have to be a bench player, I'm not going to play. They have practices on these days. They have like these positions. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, if he hadn't told me this was Rocket League, I would have thought he was talking about basketball. This thing is more serious than people think it is.
And a thought I always have at times was, like, at least we could both relate to, because we were at least good at a certain video game. Like, for me, I wouldn't say I'm prime time or whatever, but I think the best I ever got was Black Ops 2, and I had, like, close to, like, a 3 KD or something. Same thing as Rafi, I would just play that, and that's it. Like, I would not play anything else. I'll probably play the casual 2K at times, but Black Ops will be my thing. And at times I just think, like, hey, because during that time when I was at least playing, it was such a popular. Well, it wasn't popular, but it was a growing idea that competitive league could be a thing, and I was like, no, this is stupid, I always overrode it, and I was like, this is not gonna succumb to anything, or this is just nerdy, like you said. And then I just think back, and I'm like, damn, dude, now that people are winning millions, and that they also get banks for sponsorships, I'm just like, damn, dude, what if I just joined the league? What if I just joined the team, just started smacking people around? Funny. Wouldn't even have to be working anymore.
I think a lot of people, especially parents and older generations, but especially people that don't play a game, it's understandable to see a video game and be like, oh, it's easy. Anyone can do it. You're just pressing buttons. But there's so much more to it. You can play a game just to beat it, but there's always more. So one of the big things, I don't know if I told you, but Pokemon. I played it since I was a child. But I think when I was in high school, my cousin told me about competitive battling and EV training. So when you're EV training, there's these effort values that are kind of literally invisible. You don't see them. But if you train and you battle against certain Pokemon, your Pokemon is getting these invisible values. So you have to fight certain Pokemon to get these extra points, to buff up your Pokemon a little more. So there's things that you can go above and beyond. And when I learned that, I was like, damn. So suddenly on average, like 70, 80 hours of gameplay on Pokemon was becoming 150, 200 because I was constantly training. And there's just so much more to everything. It's not just, they're just pressing buttons, looking at a screen. There's a lot more to it. And like another thing, like in Pokemon, there's natures. So Pokemon have these, it's random, but some Pokemon can be like hasty or have like a joyful nature. And each of these natures give a boost. They might give a speed boost or an attack boost, but they also have a downfall. They might decrease defense. And there's like a list of like 16 to 20 different natures, and they're random. So there's like a lot more. It's like, you're not just playing Pokemon and catching stuff. Now you're, what am I catching? Is this the right one? Do I got to catch something else? So it's just crazy. Like, there's so much more to video games. So I guess that makes the competitiveness and the esports make more sense. Like, it's not just a game to some people. There's more to it. It's an art, and there's like a little bit of a science to it,
I just feel like all just this idea of people making money out of things we just overruled, and it just comes to the general idea that it comes down to how open-minded we could get, and also how just the younger audience at the end of the day just determines what's going to be coming up big time in the future, because I want to bring this up because I remember when Vine was a thing.
I never got into it, but I know Angel, he never talked about anything else. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I remember that because I know there was Viners, and it doesn't look like a lot of work. 15-second, 20-second clips, just make something relatable, funny. No. But here's the thing: when it during that time, it had it's popular or top-notch people. They would just get a bunch of views, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, dude, I see that. I could do that. I could do that. I could do all that shit. Just gotta plan it out. Just have an hour at least to do it. Get a perfect clip of it, and you're done. You become instantly popular. And I was like, damn, I just saw it. I just thought it was whatever. But now those people who were famous in the Vines, and when dissolved, they moved to YouTube. And from YouTube, they just gained automatic viewing. And from there, they just got sponsorships, deals, and all that. And two that stick out to me the most are Lele Pons. I don't know, maybe the audience has heard of her. There's another one called King Back. Right? So King Back, he got so popular that he started going in Tyler Perry movies. Do you know much about Tyler Perry?
I've seen one or two movies.
Well, yeah, he's like, I don't know. I'm just going off the loop on what I've seen, but it seems like he's a black director for black comedy. And he got in that movie, King Back. And then Lele Pons just did her a couple second clips, but she already has such a following in YouTube from Vine. She just kept rolling in the money. I'm like, damn, dude, this is ridiculous. I just overruled this. I could have done it. It's simple, straightforward, but at the end of the day, like you say, you just gotta take actions rather than just think about it or plan it. But just going back to my point, actually, one more thing I want to say. She ended up making some music videos because she likes to actually sing, and she has a nice voice. I haven't heard her like acoustic or anything like that, because at the end of the day, when you record, you could just edit, make the voice better and all that. But she got one song, I forgot what it's called, but it just blew up, and now she's probably making bank. off of that because she's just getting more popular, and she's getting more revenue streams for Instagram, YouTube, and other deals. And it just seems ridiculous to me how, an afterthought, like we've been mentioning before, we just overlooked, and at the end of the day, it was just groomed and grown to be such a big beneficial thing, at least monetary wise.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. I don't know if you have anything else to add on that.
On the popularity thing, but this reminds me of I forget, I don't think anybody knows her name, but that girl that came out on the Dr. Phil, how about that? Like, that's somebody, they got famous from a clip from an episode, and they got viral publicity, and they blew up, and they essentially got rich. But that's more of a negative one. Oh my gosh. I saw her Instagram, like, I think it was like a year or two ago, because, they have that explore page or whatever. I don't even know if they still call it that. So at times, like, I'll see something like, oh, I haven't seen this in a while, and I like to look into it. And I saw one of her photos, and I clicked on it, and I was looking through her stuff, and I was like, why is she famous? Why did people give her so much attention? Like, I understand, because there was a meme. There was a meme on it. So I understand when it was a meme and spreading it the meme, but once it got past that, and I think she got her own TV show, if I'm correct. Is that true?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, but like...
I think she got like a small...
Yeah, she got something. It's like, why? And, of course, on a business level, it's the idea that she got so much publicity, but like, on a more realistic level, why? Why are we giving someone like this so much attention? God damn.
It just feels like, at least in this decade, that you just gotta make a clip. From at least what I've seen from understanding it and analyzing it, okay, you could make a great clip and it could be funny as hell. But the thing is, it has to be trendy. It has to catch attention. Not because it's on the content, but just the timing and possibly connections you get. Based on that, like, like perfectly, like you just mentioned How About That Girl. She was on Dr. Phil. She was gonna get a ton of attention, especially during a time where Dr. Phil, I don't know if you noticed, but Dr. Phil became a meme over the year. Him. Yeah, so I felt like he started becoming a meme because of her, but from that he just got a huge platform and it just took off, and out of that people just get famous, and it just feels at times that nowadays you could just make a dumb clip and people become famous. Like, I don't know if you heard of this one Instagram, I forgot his name, like Book or something like that. This guy legit, yeah, Book. I'll remember later, but this guy legit just films himself. I don't know if he fakes it or not, but films himself robbing.
What? Oh, it's gotta be fake.
Yes. I know, but it's stupid still how this guy still has a ton of followers. He has over for sure in the thousands. And he films himself like holding, he's like asking people, oh, can I hold your dog? It's like a purebred dog or whatever. And he just like, oh, it's so cute, blah, blah. And he just starts taking off. Or he goes on, I think he went on Apple one time and he started looking at phones. And I honestly don't remember. I think I might be confusing him with somebody else, but he did that. And then let's just say he just went to stores. He would say like, oh, I want to see this, blah, blah, this and that, take off. Jewelry store, blah, blah, take off. And he would just cut off right at the end when, not before they caught him, but like a couple seconds after he started running. And people were like on that stuff. I'm like, why? And he got sponsorship deals. Even though they weren't great, he got sponsors for fake Nikes, fake Adidas, fake shirts to be sold for like $20 or $10. And it just, at least to me, it's disappointing. How people could actually find that. I mean, if finding entertaining is one thing, but to follow that and actually let that gain fame and in a way kind of affect how people might perceive things.
This is why I think, especially, I know a lot of people like this, which is a good thing, but you can't be fooled with mainstream. You can't just, because I think back in the day, this was my mindset, and I think it's pretty reasonable for this to be a common mindset, but the idea of it's famous, it must be good. There's pop music, it's on the radio, it must be good. But then you grow up and you realize just because it's famous and loved and popular does not mean it's good. You listen to the stuff on the radio, the more pop stuff, most of it isn't good.
Yeah.
Most of these, like you're saying, all these people that are getting all this publicity, but they probably don't deserve it. They shouldn't have it. Like too much publicity. Like just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good. We've talked about this many times, but trends. People are listening to this. People like this. I want to like it too. I want to listen to it too. So it's not about substance. It's not about quality. It's about, well, what do other people like?
Mainstream. Oh my god. But yeah, that's funny.
Especially working with kids.
I don't know if you want...
Oh my gosh. You work with kids. If there is a trend, they all do it. And you can tell most of them might not even like it. They pretend to like it because others do, Because if you don't pretend to like it, you're different. And if you're different, especially, and it's understandable when you're young, you don't want to be different, You see it as a bad thing. But when you get older, you see different as it's unique. You can tell a kid as much as you want, hey, being weird, being different is cool, it's unique, but they're not going to understand it. You're just an adult, this older person that's just trying to make them feel better,
They're just gonna it's gonna be stubborn and just stick to what they believe, at least during that time, and eventually grow out of it. It'll be great just to, I don't know, like a school or something where kids could be taught on not like school material that it's considered right now, such as math, science, or whatever, but like social powers or social I don't know, circumstances that could happen, and like an outside perspective where they could learn more and constantly see it, not just learn or listen from it from a parent.
Yeah, it's something that isn't common. I've heard of it, but I was telling somebody recently that what they do need, especially in high schools, is they need communication classes. I think kids need to learn how to communicate in a more broader sense, not just speeches, But like we talked about personal, intrapersonal communication, like communicating with yourself, understanding yourself. And on top of that, like,
yes.
I think it would be important, especially like later in college, especially when you're about to turn 18. So like junior, senior year, like a class where they learn about like, hey, how do you go about the news? How do you tell fake news from real news? How do you, clickbait and all this, because especially those kids, like they're going to vote soon. And if these kids go in thinking, hey, if I see this on the internet, it must be true, you're not going to be an informed voter. So there's a lot I think they really should do in high school rather than force them to take trigonometry or algebra if what you're going to do in college might not even have to do with math. So there's a lot I think these schools definitely need. The main thing I think everyone brings up is classes where you learn about taxes and stuff like that, like more practical shit.
And before we wrap up, I just want to connect into what you just said. I remember that, for my entrepreneurship classes, just to give an overview from my experience, is that you don't really learn something, how would you say, like step by step type of thing. Like I would say, like let's compare it to accounting, where you know what you have to do, certain procedures, blah blah blah. And like in my entrepreneurship classes, you kind of learn to kind of open up your mind more and go with your passion rather than just think of it as an afterthought. And it just seemed interesting to me how, at least during my experience, I went from, what am I going to get from this? Maybe this is just a waste of time to, wow, this is actually really important because you get to open your creativity up and you become more daring, at least to opportunities like we are doing right now. And it just seemed interesting to me how important that is to your mind. And I remember I was talking to my chairman. He told me how they were fighting for like months or years to get this as a prerequisite, because if you're not going to be an entrepreneurship major, you don't have to take any of these classes. But now that if you're a business major, you have I think they were able to, but now you have to take I think it's Entrepreneurship 101. And it's a really cool laid back class. I was there just a couple times just to help as an assistant. And it just seems really like a really important experience for the person, especially young in their careers, in their college career at least, to be able to open up and think about what they really want to do. And it's just great, at least from my perspective. But what I didn't like was the backlash, because he would tell me that they would get backlashes from other majors because they didn't think it was necessary. They thought, creativity and all this crap, it's just something they know on their own. But like you were mentioning, there's some stuff we have to learn in life that isn't taught in school. And I feel like, at least in my entrepreneurship experience, that one was really important, because at least in the general thought is that it opens up your mind more than it does just you think about work. Makes you think, what do you want to do, Are you just going to go for that major just because you're good at it, or because you like it? Are you going to go because your parents told you, or because you want to do it? And maybe you think of new revolutionary ideas to move the world forward and all this stuff. And I just feel like it'll be a great opportunity, or not a great opportunity, a great tool that would cover a desperate need that at least college students need nowadays. Got any more thoughts you want to get out?
Just one thing. One thing I do like, and I don't want to sound like, he's a millennial, he just, defends millennials. But one thing I do like about our generation is, like I said earlier, we're this generation that is growing up with technology. We weren't necessarily adults when smartphones, we're, like we saw it progressing. Like when I was younger, I'm sure we all had flip phones or something like that, and now we have these smartphones. So we were there for the progression. We progressed with the progression. But one thing I do like about us is I think a lot of us are still learning how to manage technology and how to fit it into our lives. And like I was saying earlier about these other older people that they were on their technology so much that maybe they neglected their kids a little, or they didn't know how to fit that in with raising their kids. But one thing I do like is, we're learning how to do it. And I feel very confident about this generation's kids. I think a lot of them, like I have a lot of friends that have kids right now, or they're going to have kids, or they're pregnant or whatever. And I feel confident that these people, like, they know how to utilize technology. They know how to teach the proper technology etiquette and literacy, Because you can't just give a kid a phone and stuff and just let them do whatever they want. I think you got to show them the importance of it, and show them like, hey, there's precautions. This isn't just something you deserve. This is something you earn it too. It's not just a piece of technology. It's a bit of a symbol too.
Okay. That's an interesting deep thought right there.
Dude. But do you have any closing statements before we close this?
I would mostly say that it's just wonderful to be back, getting the show going. And kids are interesting. I don't want to say it in a weird way, but they determine a lot of what society goes on and sees as important. Man,
one of these days, I'm going to find a way. I'm going to talk to my boss and tell her, hey, can I bring a friend with me? Just have them observe and see what it's like, or like, hey, I have a friend that thinks they might want a kid. Can I bring a friend just to see, They don't have to interact with the kids, but I want them to see from afar, because I want you to see what it is, because I like my job. The pay isn't bad. The hours aren't great, but just a few hours. Once I clock out, you're going to be so mentally exhausted, and you're not going to want to see a person under the age of 18 for a long time. It's just, not only are they annoying and stressful and crazy, but I think also just the fact that it's a big responsibility and they don't know any better. But geez, my first week, I told myself, I don't want kids. That's for sure.
Welcome to my world. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Just one last thing. I actually just wanted to say more so to the listeners. So Al and I, still as of this point, we haven't released any episodes, but and we're also, not just busy, but I think we're both going through two very busy points in our lives. You know, I told you, I haven't talked about it much on the podcast, but I'm moving soon. I'm moving out of my parents' house. I'm going to be moving with some friends. So right now there's also those financial aspects of things to look into. So we just decided, so if you're listening to this, you know, but from this point forth, for the near future, we are going to be putting this stuff possibly on SoundCloud and YouTube, since that's more financially flexible. But down the line, you know, we'll be out there more. We're going to expand. So, you know, SoundCloud, YouTube, we'll find out if there's any others that are, you know, easy to work with, and especially for us right now, but we will be expanding.
Fuck yeah, we are. Just one step at a time, but the important thing is we're getting it done.
One step at a time. It's a process. As long as we're doing this. We have a few in the bag already, and now we have a little bit more time. So, like I was telling you, you know, once I move, you know, I'm gonna see where I'm at. Let's get this going.
Yeah, let's get it popping.
Yeah, but other than that, ladies and savages, my name is Hector, and this guy,
my name's Al.
Yeah, and we hope you guys have a great week or weekend. Ta-ta.
See y'all later.